Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec, and today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop. The design team was given a sketch this week, so I'm going to be showing you my take on it, and that's the page you see on the screen right now. I'll give you step-by-step instructions for what I did with this sketch, and I'll also try to share with you my thought process when I'm actually using a sketch. So there's a sketch on the screen, and I really love it, especially that border. Here are the products I'm using, and I'm using the new collection from Vicki Boutin, Wildflower and Honey. And I'll talk more about the products as the video continues, but I will link up the shop where I bought them, the Scrapbook Nerd, as well as the products. I'll link them up in the comments below in case you're interested. I did do some preparation in advance, and I trimmed 3 pieces of paper to create a frame style foundation. And you're going to notice the pale blue one, I gutted the paper from behind it. Then I adhered the black on top of it, but I'm going to keep the white separate at this point because I'm going to be doing a fair amount of work with it. I also cut out a whole bunch of 2-inch squares in 3 different pattern papers, and actually one of them, that pale blue one, I gutted that paper from behind the foundation page. Now I speed the video up, and I'm simply going to start adhering my border to the page. So I'm eyeballing it. I'm just making sure that no 2 identical patterns line up side by side. And all you'll need here are 14 squares. And at this point, I'm just putting 13, and later on I add the 14th. Honestly, I had just forgotten it, but if you look at the sketch, there are 14 squares. So once I get this down, some of it spills over the edge, so I'm going to put it through my trimmer and trim off what spills over. That's why I kept this white one separate at this point. And I'm also going to add some faux stitching around the edge. So I'm taking a ruler and I'm just drawing a line. It's probably about 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way around, and that's going to serve as a guide to where I will poke holes with a paper piercer. And I stopped the camera, but what I did was I continued, then I erased my lines and I joined the holes together with a pen, marker really, and that kind of gives me the look of stitching. It's a technique I frequently use. Now what I'm going to do before actually adhering my photo is I want to do some stenciling on the left-hand side of the page. That's where the bulk of my decorations are going to go. That's where the largest embellishment cluster will be, and this will serve kind of as a foundation piece. Now, this is a stencil from that collection, and that comes in a kit of 3, and this one has all these positive words on it. So what I'm going to do is kind of fix it in place with some washi tape, because the washi tape won't rip my paper when I remove it. And I'm also going to use the washi tape simply to mask the areas that I don't want to ink, and that is basically those squares in the middle of the page. What I want, though, is to create a random look, and this stencil is kind of squared up. So as you can see, I'm starting with a sponge brayer, and I'm starting always in the middle of the stencil and then rolling out, and I do that all around. And when I remove this stencil from the page, you'll notice I do achieve kind of a random look, and that's basically what I was looking for. So I'm really, really happy with that. I place my photo there, and now I'm ready to adhere this white paper to the black paper. So that will create my frame style foundation. That is one way of making a sketch your own. I often make frame style foundations with my layouts. It's something I really like to do. It's part of my personal style, and even though it wasn't in the sketch, I did add this frame style foundation, and it already feels like it's more me. Always remember, sketches are jumping off points. So now what I'm going to do is play around with decorations. So if you look at the sketch, there are 3 areas where there are embellishment clusters. One is above the title, one is kind of below the journaling, and one on the top right of the photo. Well, the one at the bottom around the journaling, I'm going to consider that one big embellishment cluster. So What I do is I'm using the 2 embellishment packs that come with this kit. There's 2 ephemera packs, I should say. One of them has journaling boxes and frames. That's where I got the journaling box from. And the other one is a whole bunch of different images. So I'm using both of them, and I create these clusters. And now what I'm doing is looking for something for a title. These are puffy stickers. They are also part of the collection. And I play around with them a bit, and I end up going with that circular word fun. There, you see it right there. And I'm going to have it kind of placed over that circular piece of ephemera that's at the bottom right of the journaling box. But once I'm happy with the placement and all of that, what I'm going to do now is start adhering everything to the page. You're going to notice in a minute that some of the pieces of ephemera, I add a bit of cardstock behind the flower part. That's because when I create embellishment clusters, I do like to add a bit of dimension. I like that in my embellishment clusters. So I find when I want to add foam adhesive behind elements, especially purchased ephemera as well as stickers, I find it goes better if I just add a bit of cardstock behind it. It just makes it a bit more resistant. So that's what I do on a few of those flowers. Even though I haven't added foam adhesive yet, I will in a minute. So basically you're going to notice that the stems are adhered flat to the page, but I'm just popping up the ends of the flowers, and I'll do that in a minute. What else can I say about this? You'll also notice that my photo is quite a bit larger than the photo that's on this sketch. The sketch has a 4x3 photo, and I have a 7x5 photo, and that's because myself, my own personal style, you'll never see me create a page with a tiny photo alone and a big page. I mostly use multi-photo pages. I mostly create multi-photo pages, and when I do single photo pages, they're usually big. They're usually a 5x7, even larger sometimes 4x6, but generally it's a fairly large photo, never a small one. That's why I changed it here. Again, what I'm doing is taking this sketch, which I'm clearly inspired by, but I'm adapting it to my own personal style. So now that I've got everything down here, this title sheet has these little black dots. There's hearts and other things too. So I'm just adding black dots in a few other spots to repeat the black that's in that title, Fun. And this is the best date stamp in the entire universe. It's by One Canoe 2. It's from the Saturday Afternoon collection, and I will definitely link that up below as well. It goes from 2014 to 2025. It's fantastic. And finally, after doing my writing off camera, I decided that the top right needed a little bit more beefing up. So from the sticker pack, I added that file tab as well as the word moments. And there's my layout. This came together really, really quickly, and I really am looking forward to doing it again. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, and also check out their shop. It's full of new products all the time. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.